They fool themselves into thinking they are doing democracy. Is 24-hour media spin and getting backhanders from big business really democracy? Is that what it really all about? Politicians need to come out of their ivory towers and go people. MPs should spend a month working in a hospital with a mop in hand and clean the hospital floor. They should see this as a lifestyle. The same should be done with the senators at Washington. They should take some time out each year and do these jobs with the people they represent. One MP could spend a month working in the fire brigade. Another senator could spend a month working in the police as a police officer on the beat. This is much better than an MP sat in a surgery waiting for thought to come to them, or a senator sat at Washington drinking a little bit of coffee and not doing anything. This is better than coming out to the public when you want to be elected or for a photo shoot for your party magazine. This would restore confidence in our leaders like nothing before. It would bring renewal to democracy. It would mean that public spaces would be more likely protected because the MP and senators love the people and the people love their political leaders. This is what I would call incarnational politics. Just as Jesus Christ came down to be amongst the people, so our politicians need to do the same. Public space and secret societies. If public spaces are to be protected for the democratic rights of all, then secret societies need to be rooted out of the democratic process. No public official should be allowed to take office unless they inform Parliament or Washington of their membership of such secret societies. No contracts by local government should be signed unless all board members of the said company declare openly they are involved in these societies. Parliament and Washington and the public should have access to who are the members of these societies and the nature of their activities. This must start with the Masons, then move on to any similar societies. This too will keep safe our public spaces and bring a healthy breeze into political life. I'm not into conspiracy theories, but ordinary people know these things go on, and the implications that has for civic life is drastic. I know what I have said means I now have many powerful enemies and they will seek to utterly destroy me, but if we are going to have good democracy, then the true Democrat will fear no opposition, but work to defend the rights of the people come what may. The fire that burns in my heart for democracy will never be put out, not by a million Masons against me. Public space and public responsibility. It should become second nature to everyone in our land that those who enjoy the freedoms of a democratic society must help in its protection. Every citizen needs to think of not only their own freedoms and pleasures, but think how their actions impact others. With these thoughts in mind, compulsory voting needs to be brought in so everyone has to vote who is able. This will make the apathetic see they have a responsibility to others. If a person does not vote, they should lose their benefits or tax breaks. Why should they enjoy the freedoms of the democratic society if they do not contribute in safeguarding democracy? If this compulsory voting is brought in, it would revolutionize our democracy, as the educated elite will really have to listen, be confronted with the new demands of the people. Collective responsibility needs to be seen in how we use public space. Those who get drunk at the weekend in their thousands are wasting valuable police and medical resources that could be used for the good of the community. I'm not saying these people should not enjoy themselves, but letting tens of thousands of young people stagger out of nightclubs, many causing a nuisance, is not fair to the rest of society who picks up the bill. Next, the far right, jihadist, anarchist and terrorist. Those groups who are interested in violence or the suppression of others by victimization must not be given any freedoms to express their ideas in public space. The burning of poppies or giving out jihadist materials should be banned. Is it right that law-abiding Christian preachers can't preach in their own town centres, yet jihadists can stand in the streets of London spewing out hate to our armed forces and threatening the overthrow of our nation? You only have freedom if you take responsibility. That is what we say to the jihadists. The same goes for the far-right activist and the anarchist. It is also to be remembered, if we have ex-terrorists in government, we have democracy with a gun put to our heads. They are happy at present as they suck the milk from the breast of government money, but when the milk runs out, these terrorists will stamp their feet and turn back to their guns. We must proceed with due diligence at all times. That's just a little dig at the IRA. Next, the vulnerable of our society. Collective responsibility means we want to protect the elderly and the mentally ill and any of the people who are vulnerable. This means we want them to feel equal partners. We need to put on more events for them in our town centres. We want to see more elderly getting out and enjoying their town centres. We want to see more mentally ill taken out on trips into the town centres, not shut away as if they are outcasts who nobody wants. We want this for the vulnerable groups. A word to corporate business and the judiciary. Big business needs to realise they are agents of democracy. They should take more of the financial deficit in our country. They cannot expect to have profits and then push all the financial problems onto the public. The public can't take the strain, cracks will appear. You need to stop trying to dominate public space, but empower it for the democratic, economic and social good of all. The judiciary also needs to take responsibility. It should stay vigilant and make sure it preserves the right balance between democratic freedoms and the rights of companies. It also should discourage the me litigation suits and promote more us approach to the law. It should simplify its procedures, give stiff penalties to criminals who are clearly intended to go on a life of crime. When a person has burgled a house, it should be seen as an emotional rape, and the burglar should get a prison sentence. Such an attitude would sweep away juvenile crime and make the public feel safe once again in our town centres. Also, if I take Middleton Town Council or the UK government to court, I want to know I can trust the legal system and not feel those who have more power than me can wiggle out of the situation by legal loopholes. Public service, be proud in what you do. The police, nurses, teachers, fire brigade and the army, an army of public servants feel undervalued and under siege. There is a culture of silence. Public servants are being pushed by managers to hit targets and follow government guidelines to the point public servants are bullied where they can't give the quality of service to the public they so much want to give. What this means is a lack of self-esteem creeps into local councils, which make them feel they can't do the job, so they hand over leadership to company partnerships. There has to be a culture change where the public speak out and insist on giving the quality of service needed to do the job. They must do so knowing the public is behind them. The good of all come first before targets. Finally, public servants should see that they are there for the community, not the community there for them. Too often our own people feel the town councils are dictatorial, who exercise power for themselves and not serving the people. This kind of attitude makes millions of UK citizens and American citizens feel they are visiting old-style communist officials rather than people who care about them. Blasphemy and the arts. Religion and the arts needs to take a more collective responsibility for the good of democracy. This will have a direct impact on how public space is used. The arts need to encourage more Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu playwrights and novelists, etc. The arts are far too often follow a multicultural agenda mixed in with the spices of secularism. This means religious groups who have religious texts who interpret them in a literal way